Cao Pi. This stuff writes itself. Cao Pi is the son of Cao Cao and the crown prince of the Wei Kingdom. Through his leadership, the course of Wei shifted to a different paradigm. A paradigm we rarely get to witness in-game. So let's get everyone caught up on his events. Cao Pi was Cao Cao's third son and the first child of Bian Shi. With the death of his oldest son, Cao Ang, at Wan Castle, Cao Cao was reluctant to make Cao Pi his next heir. But with time, Cao Cao gradually recognized his son as his successor. When he was 11, Cao Pi enrolled in Cao Cao's military. In 197, he was appointed official duty, but did not participate in his father's campaigns. 4 years later, however, Cao Pi, like his father before him, paid a visit to a fortune teller. From reading his palms, his fortune went as follows.
You will experience a small misfortune that might jeopardize your longevity. I hope that you overcome this minor setback and live your life to its fullest.
In 217, Cao Pi was named the Crown Prince of Wei, and when Cao Cao died in 220, Cao Pi forced the emperor to abdicate, making himself Emperor of Wei. In 221, Sun Quan would offer his allegiance to Cao Pi, hoping to not have enemies on two fronts. Cao Pi rejected and was advised to attack Wu on a second front. However, Cao Pi ignored the suggestion and allowed Wu to gain a foothold in Shu territory. Cao Pi lost his only window to gain a major advantage over his enemies. In 222, Sun Quan broke his ties with Wei and declared independence in eastern Wu. Wei would be in a deadlock with Wu, constantly gaining and losing land on the front line, which only got more difficult when Wu and Shu re-established their alliance in 223.
Heaven created the Yangtze River to divide the north and south.
Cao Pi had a relatively peaceful reign, save for the small uprisings that come with abnegation. Behind the scenes, however, Cao Pi was cruel to both family and associates alike, with the exception of his mother and close friends. He feuded with his younger brothers, ridiculed his father's trusted generals, and mistreated his treasured wife, Lady Jin, which he would later regret. And he was also not open to criticism, and any officials who did criticize him were demoted and, on rare occasions, put to death. So yeah, Cao Pi is a bit of a rascal, a bit hard-edged in his lordship, an edgelord, if you will. He was also a prodigy of both martial arts and poetry, and he surpassed his father in almost every way in terms of talent. His campaigns against Wu were also reflected in his rivalry with Sun Quan, both of which are polar opposites both thematically and technically. This even trickles down to both of their wives having bad blood. Cao Pi shares many similarities with his father Cao Cao in terms of design. Both often are portrayed wearing blue and gold garments. However, certain features about Cao Pi are altered from time to time. Take for instance the Wei symbol, the phoenix. It is usually shown to have features associated with the peacock, and the design of various members of Wei reflect that motif. But sometimes Cao Pi is themed after a swan, with a white and blue color scheme opposite of his father's black and blue scheme. And of course, Cao Cao and Cao Pi both wield the element of ice and use doppelgangers. Where they differ is that Cao Pi's attacks are more tight and precise, supporting the idea that he is more practiced than Cao Cao. This is likely why Cao Pi wields a twin blades rather than his father who wields one sword, showing that he is far more skilled at his fighting style than his father ever could imagine being at. Cao Pi was also historically adept at wielding dual swords since he was ambidextrous. His weapons are also a reference to a performance of swords, which is meant to strengthen his connection to Genji's musical inclination. Glacial Pierce, Falling Ice, and Ice Storm follow the same theme of ice as well, which, fun fact, Ice Storm is also the name of one of his dubbed weapons. That is a weird bit of oversight.
I
shall end this now.
In 226, Cao Pi fell ill and died, naming his son Cao Rui as his only heir, placing Sima Yi as his regent. And from the Wei perspective, his rule was largely uneventful, or at least not something worth translating into gameplay, which is partially why his 6-year reign was largely pushed to the background, where it belongs. And you can be an edgelord too. All you have to do is hit that subscribe button, and you'll be up to date with all the stuff I do that may or may not include edgelords. And if there's something about this video you'd like to talk about, why don't you leave it down in the comment box below? And if you have a passing interest for me or what I do on this channel, you can donate to my Patreon to keep the channel alive. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!